I'm Jessica, and welcome to Reality Check. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode where I check off your list with Season 2 of Love Island Games, Episodes 2 and 3. Okay, I am really actually enjoying these two episodes. I think what's nice about Love Island Games is that, you know, it's okay for people to admit that they are only there for the money. And it's like, you can speculate all you want. Like, we speculated so much on the previous season of Love Island, for example, like Chris is literally only here for the money. That's what I definitely said and what I thought in the last season. And now he is obviously overtly admitting that he is just here for the money on this season. But like, I just find it so fascinating that like, it's the same show, but it's a very different show, you know? Like, it's the same franchise of Love Island, but it's such a different show. And so, like, it's okay for people to admit that they're only there for the money because it is Love Island Games. Now, there definitely are some people on this season that definitely want to find love and are not necessarily there for the money, aka Lucinda. I honestly think Lucinda did not know what she signed up for, which I just find very endearing. I really do have taken a liking to Lucinda because I just think she's just so funny, and I love, again, like the UK banter and just kind of like how confused she is by everyone being so competitive and this being Love Island Games, and like she is just, I feel like it just isn't necessarily, not that it's not a good fit for her, but it's not natural for her, I guess, to be competitive or her competitive side to come out. She's been on this show 2 times now, Love Island that is, and this whole aspect of being competitive in the games and all that, I just think is so different for her and something that she has to wrap her head around. I mean, she absolutely killed it in episode 2, which we'll talk about. But yeah, so I find it just so funny, especially just because we're so hot off the heels off of season 7. And there were so many people on that show that were not there for the quote unquote right reasons when it comes to finding love, right? Like, look at Brian and Amaya. We all shipped Brian and Amaya. We're like, oh my gosh, he came to her defense. He's there for the right reasons. He's the only person, like, even after he knew how beloved Amaya was from the public, from America, he stuck by her side till the end. And so everyone was like, yes, Amaya and Brian, we ship them. We love them. Fast forward 2 weeks after the reunion, they're done. And he had apparently cheated on her, right? And it's just like, we didn't get those vibes from him at all. And so, you know, it just goes to show that whatever we see on our screens on TV is not necessarily, you know, what, like, these people are just honestly just being very performative. I mean, some people are. I think what that has taught us, that and Janae and Kenny's breakup, he faked it for a year that he wanted to be with Janae. I think what that has just taught us is that, like, we're never gonna not have clout chasers that go on the show, whether it is Love Island, whether it is Love Island Games. And I guess not that we have to accept it, because we shouldn't have to accept it, because what those guys, especially Kenny, what he did to Janae is just absolutely terrible. It's horrible and disgusting. So no, we don't accept it. But I think we just have to know that these people are going on the show for the wrong reasons, for the money, for the fame, for the clout. And I mean, we still continue to watch it. We still continue to support it. So let's get into the recap. So this episode started off with Chris and KK. And I mentioned Chris is very open. The fact that he doesn't want to find love and he's only here for the money. And he immediately just wants to start talking strategy with KK. And, you know, he's like, who's our toughest competition? Who do we have to beat? Who do we have to scope out? And he says that, like, Solenn and Mert is their toughest competition. And I don't really know what he's basing that off of, other than the fact that, like, Solenn just, like, came in super hot and super bold and blunt in the previous episode, or I guess like a few hours previous to his conversation with KK, but I don't necessarily know what else he based it off of other than like her strong walk-in and like her strong just like presence, you know? And what I thought was so fascinating about this whole conversation with Chris and KK is like KK basically she was asking him to kiss her, borderline begging Chris to kiss her, and he's not kissing her at all. And like, this is where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the guy that was so angry on his previous season with Huda. The fact that she wouldn't kiss him in public, wouldn't kiss him in front of anyone. And he made that very known, right? Like, that was their whole storyline for probably the last at least week and a half of the show, that she just openly wouldn't kiss him in front of anyone. And now you have KK like begging almost pretty much him to kiss her in private in Soul Ties. Soul Ties is crazy. And he is basically has said no. He is not kissing her. And I'm just like, I get it. This guy is only here for the money. He's not here to find love. Like, I think that's very crystal clear. But I find it so funny that tables have honestly turned, and it's kind of just like, you know, you were so mad that Huda wouldn't kiss you in public. Like, I get the whole double kind of standard thing where, like, she only wanted to do things in private with him and not public. I get his frustration and why he was so mad. But then I'm just, like, watching this. It's like the tables have kind of turned. This guy won't kiss her at all. And they are in private. And I can tell, though, like, KK has definitely clocked Chris and his behavior and the fact that, like, he will not kiss her, engage in anything with her. She tells Tyrique, like, I'm getting bored of him. And I'm like, yeah, are we surprised? Are we surprised that she's already bored of Chris literally on, like, isn't this day one? That she's bored with him? And I'm glad, day one or day two, I'm glad that she clocked it, because I'm glad that she's getting the hint, because when we saw KK on her season, she was locked in on day one, ride or die till the end with honestly the wrong guy. So I'm glad, like, KK's definitely there for love. She obviously wants to win the money, but I think she does want to find love, and that is definitely not in Chris. And I mean, we saw things happen in between KK and Tyrique on this episode, which, I mean, look, I'm recapping episode 2 and 3, so we obviously know what happened in episode 3 with Angelina and our bombshell, which we'll talk about in a sec. So it's like, I can't necessarily even feel that bad that Tyrique and KK ended up kissing in this episode, because look what happened with Angelina and the bombshell that walked in. I'm not even are they calling them bombshells? I don't even remember. My notes I gotta scroll down for that. I mean, even earlier in this episode, Angelina was, I mean, she was so into Tyrique. Like, from minute one that she was on the show, she was locked in, and she was telling the girls, he slid in my DMs. I hope he's here. He walks in, and she's locked in on him. And she makes a comment, and she's like, you know, I'm scared that you're going to switch on me when I don't see it coming, because she already was so all in on him on day 1 and day 2. And I wrote this in my notes. This is obviously before me watching episode 3. And I said, why do I think this man is going to switch up on Angelina without her obviously seeing it coming? And I was 100% right. Like, I never saw a season. I don't know what kind of guy he is, but I can just tell from the way that he talks and his energy and, like, his flirtatious energy. And, you know, even though he was so excited to see Angelina, I just knew he didn't seem like the type of guy to just lock in on day one. And, you know, boy, was I ever right. And even just the subtle comments of, yeah, I haven't necessarily decided if I'm here for love or money. I'm kind of on the side of money. And honestly, like, that's fine. That you're on Love Island Games. Like, we accept if you are on here just to just to win the money. The one thing that I will say, though, is I don't want people to be played. You know, like, I don't want him saying I'm just here for the money, but then play girls in the process and, like, break hearts in the process. If you're here for money, make it known. Find a partner that's also there for money and just try and win the end with, like, make it to the end with each other. What's the point in playing other girls, or for a girl, like, playing other guys in the process? I don't see that as a point in this journey at all. If you come on Love Island Games and make it known, I just want to make it to the end, I want to win the money, and I want to find someone to do that with, make that known. That's okay. That is part of the show. It's fine. But I don't want people, like, I don't want to see people get hurt in the process because you're kind of playing them. You're not telling them that you're there for the money. You're not telling them that you don't actually want to be with them and you're just dragging them or having them as a side piece. I don't want to see that at all. I mean, I feel like that is what Tyrique kind of is doing, because he's not being open and kind of truthful with Angelina to be like, hey, look, like, even though we're in a couple, I am not closed off and I'm going to explore other connections. And you know what? Actually, I'm not even that much here for love. And I kind of want to make it to the end. Like, he's not really being open and honest with her at all. By him kissing KK later on in the episode, I mean, just solidifies the fact that, yeah, like, if I was like, he has something up his sleeve this whole time. I knew that he wasn't going to be ride or die with Angelina. And he, you know, cuddles up with KK, asks if she wants to share a daybed with her, wants to explore a connection. And then later on, they share a kiss. I believe it was in the bathroom, but I knew it. Like, he even tells her, I'm just here to have a blast and to have fun. But did he tell Angelina that? No, he didn't. He was, you know, the perception was that he was locked in on her as soon as he saw her, because they had kind of like this previous DM exchange relationship before the show. And we are seeing him kind of say something totally different to KK, to be like, yeah, I'm just here for the vibes. I'm here to have fun. And he's saying that to her because KK's like, oh, no, but you're with Angelina. He's like, no, I'm just here to have fun. So, look, I'm getting Playboy vibes from Tyrique. I think it's fine if you want to play the field on the show, but just don't play other girls in the process. Just be open and honest and transparent. I don't think Angelina is really going to care, though, when she finds out about Tyrique and KK, if and when she finds out about them. Because, I mean, I think she's pretty locked on Johnny now that Johnny has come in episode 3. They had a previous relationship. We'll get to that, because I have a lot of questions and I have a lot of thoughts, and I know I don't want to jump too ahead, but I just think Tyrique is, you know, yes, he's into Angelina. He's also into KK. I'm here for it, to be honest. Like, I don't mind KK and Tyrique together. I thought him and Angelina looked amazing together. They're just two really good looking people, so I thought they looked great together. The same goes for KK and Tyrique, though. She's also just absolutely beautiful. And I just don't want KK to be hurt. That's my biggest thing, because she's been through it in this villa previously, and I just don't want her to be hurt. I want her to have a positive experience this season, so I don't want our KK to be hurt. That's my only thing. Okay, so let's get into Mert, Lucinda, and Solène and kind of like that triangle. So Solène partnered up with Mert on the previous episode. That's kind of where things left off. And I mean, Mert definitely was not into Solène. He wouldn't even look at her in the eye when she walked in. And you can just tell that he wants Lucinda back. And he even confirms to Lucinda, he's like, look, Solène isn't my type. I just want to be with you and I want you back. And, you know, I feel really bad for Mert, and I did say this in the last recap that I did, because, he even says it to Lucinda. He's like, there's so many things that I want to say to you, but I get stuck in my English. And I feel bad for him. Like, I said this. He is not comfortable speaking English, right? Like, that's not his first language. He's on this English speaking show, not comfortable with English, and him not being comfortable means that he is uncomfortable on this show and like trying to build a connection and trying to form relationships. Like, yes, even first building a romantic connection, I'm sure is difficult, but also building friendships, I'm sure is also difficult too. So I'm sure his time in the villa is probably just not easy for him because he just doesn't feel like himself. And in that moment when he said that, I did feel really bad for him because he said, he's like, you're not able to see the real me. And, I think he spoke something in his language that he wanted to say to her. And, obviously he builds confidence when he speaks his language, but it's like, she doesn't even know what he's saying. So I feel bad for her. And it's like, yeah, like that's what Love Island Games is about. They bring people from all different areas of the world that have been on other Love Island franchises, but then it's kind of like, the contestants may not necessarily have a great experience because they can't necessarily speak the language that well. So it's hard. And then, he's at a disadvantage, probably isn't going to make it far because if he doesn't feel like himself, how is he supposed to put himself out there and make genuine and real connections? Like, he seems like he really wants to find love. I don't even think he was fazed by the prize pot. So I feel bad for him. And I don't know, Lucinda really was not into him at all up until I believe it was the next episode where they shared a kiss. And she was like, oh my gosh, like, that changed everything. I was not into him before, but all you just need is a kiss and now, we're good and let's move on kind of thing. So we'll see. I don't know. Finally, we've seen Lucinda in, I guess it's episode 3, or I guess the end of episode 2, after she won. We saw her smile finally because all throughout episode 1, remember, she was just not having a good day. It was not her day at all. So it's nice to see her in a different light and to see her happy. But yeah, I don't know if things are going to last between her and Mert. I don't know how Mert feels about this whole situation. And I feel bad for him. I really do. Just seeing him be vulnerable already in episode 2, being like, I don't feel like myself. It's got to be really hard. So I feel bad for the guy. Speaking of Lucinda, I don't think this girl knows what she signed up for. Like, I genuinely think she wants to be there for love, and everyone around her, everyone is talking about competition and trying to strategize, and now she has to enter this duel. And she even says, she's like, I don't think I got the memo what this show is. Like, what did I actually sign up for? Because I don't feel like she's a competitive girl. And again, like, I think she genuinely wants to find love. And like I said, she's been on 2 seasons prior of Love Island, so this is totally new for her. I can't imagine they have a Love Island Games anywhere else but in the US version. Well, yeah, I guess it is the US version, even though they have other contestants from, around the world. But I just don't think she knew what she signed up for. And I mean, you can kind of see that she's super stressed out about going into the duel. I don't think she's a very, very competitive person. She even says she's like not very athletic. She doesn't really do much. So it's just funny because I just think her banter is so funny. And she's like, what did I sign up for? Like, I don't think I got the memo, but I think her spirits are, have been lifted because this girl absolutely killed it in that duel. So let's talk about this duel. We know that Lucinda and Josh had to go into this duel because they were vulnerable. They had the broken heart necklace from the night before because their partners got stolen from them. And Lucinda says, like, my heart is saying to pick Solène because she wants to end up back with Mert and kind of explore that connection with Mert. But her head is telling her to pick Andreina because she feels like she can beat Andreina. And she ends up picking Andreina, and we see what this duel is. And so I'm watching it and I'm like, oh no. Is she going to lose? Like, she had the choice of picking whoever she wanted to. She picks Andreina. And I think myself, as well as many, many, many other people, thought that this duel was a shoo-in for Andreina, given the fact that Andreina is just a lot bigger than Lucinda. Bigger as in, like, she's taller. You would think because of her height, it would be a shoo-in for Andreina to win. But man, Lucinda dominated. Absolutely dominated this duel. I was really impressed. And I was like, okay, Lucinda, like, I think you're underestimating yourself, because she was so sad and she was defeated before she even stepped foot in that duel. And I'm glad that she won, because I think she just brought this, like, new energy, and, like, this new wave of energy just came to her. So I can't believe it. Like, Andreina got totally, like, whipped around that entire ring. It was crazy to watch. I was honestly shook. I really didn't think it was going to be that much of a blowout, and also a blowout on Lucinda's end. I really was impressed. Andreina was just getting tossed around. It was crazy. Like, she couldn't even get on her feet. It was wild. And so basically what the challenge was they were connected by rope, and they had to collect a ball, go to the other side, and there was 5 containers that they had to drop individually the balls in, and, you're connected. And so you basically have to kind of, like, fight the other person, and, you can be strategic with it. Obviously, there's strategy. And I think what Lucinda did really well was that she was on her feet the entire time. And that was Andreina's problem, is that Andreina was on the ground the whole time. Whether the fact that she just couldn't get her footing, whether the fact that Lucinda had just pulled so much that Andreina just fell to the floor, like, she literally could not get up. It was crazy. And you have Lucinda, who's smaller than her, just absolutely dominating this challenge. And even Tyrique, he was like 5-0. That is absolutely crazy. And again, like, it was in this moment where you can really kind of see just Tyrique in I don't even know what the word is, a not great light. I'm going to say that. It just wasn't a great light, because he's making all these really negative jabs at Andreina, and it's like, this is your partner, and this is you throwing out words of encouragement for her to try and win the next round by you saying, like, 5-0, that is crazy. Give your partner words of encouragement. Tell her what to do. Tell her to get on her feet. Like, tell her to hang low. Like, do what you need to do to try and help her to win. Not bash her and be like, 5-0, that's crazy. That's unfair and uncool, and I don't love Tyrique. Like, it's like, okay, like, I think he brings, like, that UK kind of, like, energy onto the show, and obviously is, like, here to win and is going to cause, like, drama, because I think he's just gonna have girls fall for him and then him throw them to the wayside. So, like, TV wise, I guess he's a good, but, like, don't love him. Like, don't love the energy that he brings and, like, kind of how he's treating Andreina. I don't love that, And again, I think Andreina's she's over it now that Johnny's in the house, I think. But I didn't love how he approached that with her, because she can also get in her head, right? Like, oh my gosh, my partner isn't even giving me positivity, isn't even throwing out words of encouragement. He's just bashing me. that sucks. So, like I said, Lucinda dominated. Angelina maybe had gotten, out of 10 balls, maybe in total of the 2 rounds, maybe she got in 2 or 3. And so, yeah, Angelina ends up with a broken heart. She is now vulnerable. We don't know what that means yet, but she's now vulnerable. Then we go to Josh. So Josh ends up picking Charlie. And I was a little bit surprised. I mean, he even mentioned, like, Charlie is 140 pounds soaking wet. So obviously he picked Charlie because he's a small guy and because he felt like that he could beat him. He obviously thought correctly because he really did also, I would say, dominate that round with Charlie too. Not as bad as the previous round with the girls, but he did. Like, yes, Charlie maybe didn't really have a fighting chance against Josh, even though Josh is a smaller guy, like height-wise. He's jacked. He's also a personal trainer. He knows what he's doing. You know, he has the muscle on him. But the reason why I was kind of surprised, I thought he was going to choose Kendall. Because I also just, I mean, maybe he's equally as, like, I don't know what the word is, weak. I don't know. But I just don't see Kendall being good at this challenge at all. So I thought he would have picked Kendall, but he didn't. He picked correctly anyways because he ended up beating Charlie. And I would say, like, yeah, Charlie fought back against him. And I think people were kind of surprised. It was kind of going back and forth in the first round. Charlie got the first ball, then Josh, then Charlie, then Josh. So I was like, oh, like, maybe he does have a fighting chance. But then when it got into the second round, you can just tell Charlie was gassed and Josh took it. And it was really kind of crazy as I was watching it. Like, these guys were digging. Like, they were digging deep to win that challenge. And it was really nice to see. Like, it was crazy to see how much they were just, like, digging, like, if literally figuratively and literally speaking, like, digging claws, hands into the floor, and, like, there must, like, every single vein popping out. It was crazy. But ultimately, like I said, Josh wins and Charlie gets the broken heart necklace. Okay, so getting into episode 3. My goodness, I cannot believe, I know I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, but I can't believe that our 2 newest bombshells are Justine and Johnny. Did not see that coming. Did not think that they would be back again. Justine and Johnny, obviously we know them from their respective seasons, but they were also on the previous season of Love Island Games, like season 1. Justine won, and Johnny came runner-up. They're really good competitors, like really good competitors. I don't love Johnny as a person. I don't. I think he's definitely an F-boy. He had like a secret kid a year ago. Like, he was on Love Island Games, and he had a secret kid, I think, right after the season aired or something like that. Like, it was, the timing was questionable. He was also on the challenge, I want to say once. I don't think he was on twice. So he's a good competitor. Justine also is a good competitor too. She won last season. I mean, Justine, I think, is just bouncing around to different reality shows now. We just saw her on Perfect Match. She's been on now 2 Love Island seasons. I think she's just kind of trying to get that coin. I don't really think she cares about finding love at all. She's also made that very clear. She just wants to make it to the end. She didn't even know what the prize pot was up until Charlie told her. I guess she thought it was still $100K. She was floored when she heard it was $250. She's like, okay, now we gotta win. So it's crazy to see them back. I like that they're back. I don't see there being any issue that they're back. I think they're not here to find love. That is very clear. They're here to win. And I'm okay with that. So this episode starts off with Kendall and Garby. And our, Garby and Ken doll. Also, when the announcer said, because in my last episode, I was like, Garby and Ken. But I didn't think Garby and Ken doll. That is genius. Genius. So anyways, Garby and Ken doll. I am really surprised that they are actually have, I'm more surprised at Garby that she has a romantic interest in Kendall. I think just maybe because he gives me the ick, and I don't know, I didn't necessarily think, I thought maybe he would give her the ick too. I don't know. But I'm surprised. Like, they went into the photo booth. They made out. Again, these people, they're just using way too much tongue. It's too much for me. But I'm surprised they have, like, this connection. I don't know if I trust Kendall. That's the thing. Like, I don't know if I trust Kendall in that, like, yeah, he's locked in on Garby and he wants to be with Garby. Like, I just feel like Kendall is here for the game and doesn't necessarily care to find love, whereas I actually do think Garby is very into Kendall. And that's, again, where I'm like, I don't want people to be played. I don't want these girls to be played. If you don't want to find love, then don't play these girls along. But, I mean, I guess we have to just keep watching to see what his truest intentions are. But, yeah, I was really surprised. I was like, these guys are in the photo booth making out, like, a lot. I'm pretty surprised. So, Tyrique is, something else. And I did mention earlier kind of, like, the character traits that we're already seeing in Tyrique in episode 2. But he then says to Angelina, after obviously she loses the challenge, he's like, maybe it's best for me to couple up with someone that's actually good in challenges, but, like, I'll still, like, flick it with you throughout the day. He wasn't thinking this. He wasn't saying this in his confessionals privately. He wasn't saying this to a friend, to a bro, to someone else. He said that to Angelina, the romantic connection that he was with. This is the kind of guy that I'm telling you. This is the guy, like, this is the kind of guy. He's not a good guy. He's not. How can he flat out just say to Angelina, I think we should basically what he's saying is, I think we need to part ways. I don't think that we should be in a pair together because you suck at challenges, clearly. You couldn't even get one ball in the thing. I think we need to separate, but I'll still kick it with you. I'll still kick it with you throughout the day, but I don't want to be your partner because I want to make it to the end. That is insanity to me. Like, that is actually crazy. And again, that's him. Like, he's playing her. Like, you can't, to me, I'm like, you can't do that. Unless, I guess, if you have, like, two consenting people, right? And they're like, okay, I'm not good at challenges. You are. Our plan and our strategy is that I'm going to go, like, let's say I'm Angelina, and she's like, okay, yeah, cool, I understand. I'm going to go partner up with, like, Chris so that him and I can win in the challenges. You partner up with whoever so that you can win in the challenges. And we'll just have a relationship where, like, we come together and we know that we're partner up with the strongest people. So it's, like, our best fighting chance to make it to the end. But we know that, like, we can come back to each other because we're actually here for each other. Like, I guess that's a strategy that, like, you could do if you're both on the same terms with it, but you both need to be on the same terms with it. And this guy bringing this to her attention is crazy to me. Like, to be like, yeah, like, and because it's her not good in challenges. You just saw her in, like, the 1 or 2 challenges where it's like, yeah, you're not good. So I think we need to part ways. It's absolutely just crazy to me. And look, I think Angelina is not going to care anymore, especially because Johnny comes in later on in this episode. We'll see what happens with her and Johnny, whether they get partnered up, whether, I don't know, right? Like, I'm assuming that's going to happen in episode 4, but it's just crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy. And then even too, and he's saying things to her, like, because she's crying, like, hearing this, like, basically hearing her love interest tell her that she sucks at challenges and he doesn't want to be partnered up with her. She starts crying and he's like, you're too pretty to cry. Stop crying. I can't with this guy. This is the thing. This is what I was saying earlier. He's not a good guy. Like, it's entertaining, maybe, sure, but like, it's at the expense of someone else, and I don't like that. So he's literally telling everyone that he wants to leave Andraina without overtly telling everyone that he wants to leave Andraina. And you know what? Maybe him finding out eventually that, like, she's into Johnny, he's gonna take that and run. He's gonna say, good, go explore that. Oh, she was in your DMs too? Go explore it. He's a fiercer competitor than me. He's a better chance for you to make it to the end. Go with him. Please, trust me. I'll be fine. Don't worry about it. I'm telling you, that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna take that and run. He's not going to be upset. He's not going to care. This guy wants to make it to the end. He doesn't want to find love. He just wants to win. So I'm very interested to see how that is going to play out, because again, I think he's just going to take that and run. And once he finds out that information, that they had a relationship, she's into him, and she's so excited that Johnny's there. Oh man, that is going to be some spicy tea when that all plays out. And I'm sure that's going to happen in the next episode, right? Because now Johnny's in the house. So I'm sure there's going to now be some sort of way for the bombshells to officially be partnered up with someone. How's that going to work? They're going to keep passing around this stupid necklace, and we'll see how it all plays out. Okay, so that evening, Charlie gets a text while he's sleeping and finds out that he has to leave the villa with Andraina to get, some relaxing R&R in, because they were, they had a day. And so Charlie ends up finding out they both leave the villa. Actually, sorry, before I get into that, I just have a question, because I've always wanted to know. What if he doesn't hear the phone beep? Like, what if he doesn't hear the phone beep? Like, does a producer physically go, like, tap him and be like, hey, you're going to get a text. You need to wake up. Because how many times, like, I sleep with my phone underneath my pillow because that's where I charge it. I just naturally, and also too, like, I listen to podcasts to go to bed. So I'm listening to podcasts. My phone's underneath my pillow. It's on loud. I don't hear any sort of beeping, ringing, nothing. If I get any sort of messages, notifications, whatever throughout the night, I don't hear anything. So how is it so conveniently that, like, every single person that gets a text in the middle of the night hears it? I don't know. And also too, how does no one else hear it? If Charlie's hearing the text, how is no one else hearing it? Make it make sense. That's why I think, like, a producer probably has to, like, nudge him very, very, very quietly and be like, don't say anything. I don't know how they do it. I don't know, because I always wanted to know, how are they conveniently the only person to wake up, and how are they conveniently waking up when they get the text? Like, how do they hear that one ding? Anyways, so he finds out that he goes on a date and he's meeting up with Justine. And I mean, lo and behold, the previous winner of Love Island Games, who better to be partnered up with than someone that has already won this once. So he's partnered up with her. And I mean, I don't know if she's into him. I don't know if he's into her. If I have to guess, and we know his type, he likes blondes. So I don't know if he's into Justine. But again, I don't necessarily think either of them really care to be each other's type, or like to actually form some sort of connection with each other, because they've both openly admitted they don't want to meet anyone. They just want to win the game. And so maybe that's a good thing. I mean, we obviously know what happens at the end of the episode, but maybe that was a good thing. Could have been a good thing, I guess, if they really didn't have any sort of romantic connection, but had the drive to want to win, and that, like, kind of like common goal of wanting to win and common thing that they both shared and like could strategize and do whatever, maybe that would have been a good thing. But again, you know, we know what happened to Charlie. I think regardless, whatever happened with Charlie in the long run anyways, I didn't necessarily see this pairing last anyways. So now pivoting to Andreina, she goes on a date and finds out it's with Johnny. And this is where it gets really interesting because she says, you know, and I mean, they were talking about it like, should we tell everyone? Should we tell them that, you know, we've hung out before? Should we tell them what we've done? Should we tell them that we've kissed? And so as I'm watching it, I'm like, are you saying, like, are you talking about the audience, like us watching? Like, should we tell them, like the public, what we've done, or the people in the house? I don't necessarily think I know what they were really getting at about, like, should we tell them? Because it just felt like they were trying to hide it for, like, a hot second to the audience that, like, they did have something. But, I mean, I do maybe probably think that they were talking about the people in the villa and, like, yeah, like, they should keep it a secret. They shouldn't know that they had this previous relationship, that they've kissed, DM'd, whatever. But then I'm also watching it and I'm like, when did this relationship happen? Like, she's been out of the villa for 2 months. Did they have a relationship before she even went on the show? Because Johnny has been on the show, like, from a while ago, right? Like, wasn't Johnny, okay, so Johnny and Selly, wasn't Selly season 2? So it was like 5 years ago. And then he's been on the challenge. He's come back to Love Island Games. Like, Johnny's been around. So I'm like, was he exchanging DMs with Andreina before, way back when, like before she was even on the show? I feel like no. Like, I feel like it would have had to been within the past 2 months. Just especially because Andreina, when she walked in on episode 1, she was like, so, oh my gosh, like the amount of guys that are in my DMs and the amount of guys that I've talked to and all this stuff. It's just crazy to me that, like, she was out of the villa for 2 months, already met Johnny, already kissed him, like, whatever. So it's crazy to me. She's happy, though. She's very happy. He's happy. Very happy, too. They're happy to see each other. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how their relationship pans out. Like I said earlier, right? Like, what's going to happen with Tyrique? Are they going to be honest with the house? Honest with Tyrique? Like, oh, like, we've exchanged DMs. Are they going to say, oh, we've kissed? Like, I don't think they would tell them that they've met up before and kissed. But I don't know. I don't know how they're going to go into the house and tell them about their back history, if they will, right? Like, they might just play dumb and be like, oh yeah, this is the first time meeting. I don't know what they're going to do. So I think that's going to be really, really fascinating. And so they both get to kind of meet together, the couples, and then strategize, like, who are we going to face in this next competition? Because they find out, obviously, they are in the bottom. They have the heartbreaker necklace. And so they need to go back into the villa and try and win a competition. So they strategize, you know, and they're sharing it with a partner. Like, these people were the weakest link, or these people won, or I think that we can beat them. And I think the difficult thing is, like, they didn't know what the competition was. Like, is it going to be physical? Is it going to be mental? Like, they had no idea. And it's so early to kind of get any sort of gauge on what the competition, like, what the cadence of the competition are going to be, right? Like, with Big Brother, I mean, Big Brother has been around for so long, but, like, you kind of know, like, okay, in Final 4 HOH is going to be an endurance comp, but then the veto is going to be mental, and, like, you kind of know how the competitions are going to shape up depending on, like, the week and the cadence and the amount of people that are in the house. But here, they've only done one competition. Two competitions. One was just, you know, the ridiculous challenge of, like, the kissing and whatever, but then the other one was super physical. So what is this going to be? This one was not physical at all. And, you know, it's more just about being very meticulous and very steady. And so, and Ina said it best. She was like, you know, when they found out what the challenge was, she's like, it's anyone's game. Like, it truly is a even level playing field, which made it interesting, right? Because it's like, you think that you're choosing the weakest link, but they may not be the weakest link. Like, you never know. You might do a challenge where the smallest person in the house actually has an advantage, and you may have chosen them because you're like, oh, I can beat them, they're the smallest. You just never know, right? It's a gamble. So Angelina and Johnny end up choosing Garby and Kendall, and Charlie and Justine end up choosing Isaiah and Nicola. And Nicola finds out, and she's like, I couldn't tell if she was like super angry or super confident and like happy and excited. I think where I gathered she felt was extremely confident and like excited to compete. I'm like, Nicola, like, you know, like you could be at risk of going home. Like, why are you excited right now? But I mean, I guess she like brought that energy into the challenge, and it was good that she did, because yes, they ended up winning, of course. But basically, they find out that whoever ends up losing the challenge is going to get that heartbreak necklace, that dreaded heartbreak necklace, and become vulnerable. And there actually is going to be a dumping this evening. They find that out. So the challenge is basically this like big metal broken heart. And there's this tube that's attached by strings, and you have to pull the string really tight so that that tube can go through the metal pieces, not touch it at all. There's 2 safety zones, which I thought was really good that they had. At first I was like, oh my god, they have to get through that whole entire thing without touching the metal piece. Like, that's going to be impossible. So it's good that they had those safety zones. But I like this challenge. I don't know if anyone watched Mr. Bean growing up, but there was an episode of Mr. Bean where he went to like a carnival or like a fair, and it was literally one of these things, and it was the metal thing, and he had to go up and down, up and down, up and down. And this guy, like, you know, Mr. Bean, he's just like very mischievous and like up to no good and, you know, whatever. So he sees, like, he wants to win the prize. And so he looks underneath, it's covered, like the table's covered by like tablecloth, and he sees that it's just plugged in. So he unplugs the machine, and he's going up and down, like so, and he's going fast too. He's like da 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 da, like up and down, and obviously he ends up getting the prize, and then he leaves, and then they notice that he unplugged it. But anyways, this just reminded me of that episode of Mr. Bean. So I liked it, and again, like, I don't care for the stupid kissing challenges like they had on episode 1. Give me stuff like this. Like, this I would say is like, oh my god, it was anyone's game. Like, someone could have got it to the very end and then touched the metal piece, and then the other person from behind could have beat them in the end. So I like this where it's kind of like anyone's game. It was going back and forth at one point, and give me more of these, because these are non-fast forward worthy. You give me the ones in episode 1 with all the kissing and the making out, I'm going to fast forward through those. These ones, I'm going to watch them because I like them, because I love competition, you know? So anyways, I was into this one. So first up was Charlie, Justine, and Isaiah and Nicola. And it really was, I would say, anyone's game at one point. Like, at first, Nicola and Isaiah were struggling, and they were not communicating at all. And so as I was watching, I was like, oh my gosh, they're 100% going to lose, and Justine and Charlie are going to win. But then all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, they just pulled through and pulled way past Charlie and Justine. And I don't even know what happened to them, but I was shocked. To be honest, I was not expecting Nicola and Isaiah to win. And I mean, I think they needed to put like a stamp kind of on their name on this show, because they haven't had a lot of airtime. I don't even know if Isaiah is really into Nicola and vice versa. Like, I don't really know. So I think it was good for them to kind of like put a stamp on it and be like, hey, like, we're not here to play, we're here to win. So I thought that was good. It sucked to see Justine lose, though. I felt bad for Charlie. He's having a rough go on this show. I don't know if Charlie is made to be on Love Island. I really don't. But they end up losing. And so Charlie is now vulnerable. Then we had Angelina and Johnny going against Garby and Kendall. Honestly, Angelina and Johnny killed that challenge. Like, there really wasn't any back and forth on this one. They killed it. They only touched the metal piece. I mean, as they showed that they only touched the metal piece one, and that was right at the very end. they killed it. I guess they just have very steady hands. Again, like, Johnny has been on the challenge. So he is a competitor. Like, even though I think he's only been on it once, but like the challenge, the people that go on the challenge are built different. Those competitions are no joke. And so like you have this measly competition of just like staying steady and just concentrating. Like, I think he did such a good job of like coaching Angelina through the whole thing. Like, pull more slack. There was good communication. And I mean, not to be like, he learned that from the challenge, but I do think when you go on the challenge, you learn a lot in terms of like how to compete and how to hold your composure and how to, deal with being under such tight pressure, going into the ring, whatever. Every season it's called something different. When you go in at the end, like the elimination, that is such an immense amount of pressure because it's literally win or lose, in or out. And so I think he really held his composure and really helped her hold her composure. And that's why I think they're a good pairing, because you could see that. Like, he was helping her, whereas like Tyrique, when Angelina was competing in the previous competition, he was putting her down. And that's not what you want to have as a partner. You want a partner that's going to build you up. And so regardless if Angelina and Johnny have this romantic connection, like, yeah, okay, they can have that. But I do think they worked really well together. And I feel like that alone is why they'll probably try and find themselves together as a couple, like as an official couple. I feel bad for Garby and Kendall because they really kind of did struggle in this competition, like they lose. And so Kendall becomes vulnerable because Angelina had to decide who she was going to put the necklace around. I mean, I didn't see her putting the necklace around Garby just because I feel like she's a girl's girl and she wants her girl to kind of stay. So she puts it around Kendall. And so now him and Charlie are vulnerable. And so I'm looking at these two and I'm like, oh my gosh, like these are big names. These are big names that are now going to potentially leave the villa. And so we find out that there's going to be a dumping and a vote. So each Islander, it's the classic, each Islander has to go stand up behind either Kendall or Charlie and cast their vote to save them. And so, I would say it kind of went back and forth, but I had a strong feeling that Kendall was going to stay because Garby was really excited about her connection with Kendall, and I think a lot of people in the house really love Garby. I mean, I love her. I think she's my favorite one in this villa right now. So I had a feeling that Kendall was going to stay. And again, I just don't know what it is about Charlie. I don't think, number one, I don't think this is the right show for him. I really don't. Like, I just think he's having tough breaks. He had a tough go at it in his last season. He had a very tough go at it here. Like, did even last 24 hours kind of not great. Maybe he probably feels embarrassed. But I just feel like the energy that he came on this show with was just not not the energy that we needed. Like, it was very negative, and I don't think he was fully in it. Like, he just got back, like I guess kind of similar to Angelina, that they were out of it for 2 months, but I feel like he went through it, like he had this massive dumping on the last season, and now he came back and like literally 24 hours later got dumped. Like, it's just, I don't know. I just feel like his energy is a big reason why he's kind of was in that situation. I said it on the first recap. He came in super negative. He didn't have a good vibe around him. And I really don't care to see him go, to be honest with you. Like, I don't think it's a loss for the show at all. I really don't. And he's already done some interviews post-show, and he's like, yeah, I don't think I'm done with Love Island. I don't think this is the right show for me. And I honestly kind of agree. I don't think it is. I'm sure he'll be on something else, like Perfect Match. Are you kidding me? I mean, I think he missed the boat, actually, because I think they are filming Perfect Match now in September. So maybe he can go in as like a bombshell or something on Perfect Match now if there's still time. But yeah, I'm sure he'll be on something. I just think he's done with Love Island. So Kendall stays, Garby's happy, And I'm happy for her because you know what? As much as I don't love Kendall, I think they're kind of cute together. I'm not going to lie. So that is the recap of episodes 2 and 3. Overall, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a solid cast. And I think there's a lot of tricks that are up Ariana's sleeve that we're going to see daily, I think, every single episode, because it just seems like there's either a duel or a challenge or a dumping or whatever it is. So we just have to stay tuned literally almost every single day of the week to find out what that is. So I will be back before you know it to recap probably episodes 4 and 5. And, like I said, that'll be very, very soon. So that'll do it for me today. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Please rate, subscribe, review, do all of the things. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at yourrealitycheck.pod. And I cannot wait to chat with you in the next episode. Bye!